Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, today we have a very, very, very special guest. We talked about this about 6 months ago or so in the dugout of a Tulsa Drillers game when it was about 180 degrees. And it was a period of the season where Tulsa was, quite frankly, struggling a little bit. It did not end up that way. We were talking to Kupono Decker, the player development of the Dodgers, first base coach for AA Tulsa. Kupono, I am super pumped to get you in here and have you talk on the show here.
Oh, I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure. Always love seeing you at the stadium.
Yeah.
You know, it's always welcoming to see you at the stadium. So I'm glad I could hop on today.
Okay, so you're from Hawaii, and anytime we have a different area like that, I do not even like to try to attempt the names because I know there's a local inflection to it. So tell us exactly where you originate from.
Yep. So I'm from Hilo, Hawaii. It's on the east side of the Big Island. Very small town, but very rich in baseball. So I guess a couple of names that's from my area is Colton Wong, two-time Gold Glover. Yeah. He's from Hilo. The newest bench coach for the Mets, Kainoa Correa, huge mentor for me. Taught me a lot in the infield. He was with the Giants. He's from Hilo. Colton Wong's little brother, Keon Wong, who's with the Rays, who came up with Snell. He's from Hilo. So baseball is rich from where I'm from, and then my father was a longtime youth coach here, so kind of just, following in his footsteps.
So you had to make it stateside to go to college there at San Mateo and Jessup. And so is there any correlation there for you having to come to not a different country, but different mainland to come to play a game versus maybe some of the international guys that have to come from other places too? Is there any correlation there?
Not really. I think just for us, nowadays it's getting a little easier with the travel ball, but when I was playing, it was hard for us to get out there to the mainland. So a lot of it was just kind of just emailing schools. San Mateo was one that I kind of reached out to because my brother was living in the San Francisco area. Being from Hawaii, having family close, I think that's very important to us. So just somebody that I reached out to. I was talking to USF at the time too, so he put in a good word. And then landed at San Mateo. So very blessed to be there. And, with San Mateo and the Dodgers, Daniel Nava, San Mateo legend. So we had a connection there too. So, blessed for my time being there in San Mateo and the Bay Area. Yeah,
Nava is kind of I don't know what his exact title is. Maybe kind of like Austin Chubb, on-field minor league coordinator, something like that. But I know he helped with the base running, of which T.Y. Taylor Young, he tied for the league lead, I think 64 stolen bases for you guys. So Daniel Nava, let's talk about him for a second. He was the manager at High A Great Lakes. Now, roving instructor, I don't know exactly what his title is. You can maybe give that, but talk about the job he does.
Yeah, so he basically he's the outfield coordinator and helps with the base running as well. So him and Jeff Salazar kind of tag team in that area. But he's been great help for me. My first year in professional baseball, and we have that San Mateo connection. So he's helped me a lot too, especially on the base running side. You could probably see from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, our base running got a lot better, right? And that was kind of part of me learning the system of how Dodgers work, learning from Jeff Salazar, and their guidance throughout the whole process has been unreal, and I've learned a lot just being around them, and it helped me to help our guys to, take the extra base, create more run value for our team, and ultimately led to more, wins for us in the season, made a playoff push at the end of the season. So I got to give my kudos to them, Jeff Salazar and Daniel Nava, because they taught me a lot, just what to look for in pitchers, tendencies, and different things like that I've never thought about, when I was coaching college. But now when I get into professional ball, you got a lot more games within a season, a lot more pitchers you can see, a lot more videos and tools that you could use. So definitely learned a lot from them. And, I thank them for the opportunity and, just guiding me throughout the season. And, without them, I don't think the success of the bases would be without them,
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into some of your background and Nevada, Reno. We'll talk a little bit about that. I don't have any personal experience with that, so we'll let you talk about that. But then Iowa Western, Oklahoma State has gotten I don't know how many great players from Iowa Western over the years. Currently, they have Evan Saunders, who I know you coached while you were at Iowa Western. That dude is big. He has soft hands, and he can hit that thing a country mile. Just had Braden Smith, who's actually in the professional ranks. He was at Iowa Western. And about 10 years ago, they had one of the best hitters OSU's ever seen in Tanner Credemeyer. They call him TK. Every time I post about him, all of his teammates always come to his defense of how great of a hitter he was. So talk about your time at Nevada, Reno. Then obviously I'm very excited about your time at Iowa Western and then how it transitioned into the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, my time with Nevada, Reno, I think that time with Nevada prepared me for professional baseball. You know, our head coach, Jake McKinley, who was a VP player development for the Brewers, and then our pitching coach, Mark Moriarty, he was from the Twins, and then our hitting coach was also from the Brewers, Jordan Getzelman. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So when we got into Nevada, we all got in. Jake McKinley got the job. He hired all of us, but it was kind of the approach was like, hey, let's take what they learned from professional ball and let's try to include it into Division I baseball. So being around all the technology and learning TrackMan and aware cameras and stuff like that prepared me for the job that I do today, right? You know, so I think just being at Nevada and the opportunity being there was very impactful of me being here in professional baseball. So very blessed for my time being there. They taught me a lot.
So the player development side of it, I mean, I can't even explain to you. You know, you're going from one city to the next, and hotels, and the Hawkeye systems, and the TrackMans, and trying to read all the data, then also trying to coordinate practices and making sure. It's an incredibly encompassing job, what you did at Nevada, Reno. So is player development at the professional level. So you mentioned how that helped you, but in specifics, you know, from a daily routine perspective, how has that really translated into helping the professionals that you've worked with?
Yeah, exactly. I think like in the operations position, like it's not just one position, right? I think it's you hold a multitude of different areas of work. So with the operations, you know, I had to book flights to, you know, order the team meals, you know, and be in communication with the hotel, right? So with the job that I'm in now, there's a multitude of work being with it too. So I think that prepared me for that as well. So I'm busy throughout the day, right? You know, I also run the video for Tulsa. So I'm around setting up cameras while trying to set up my cameras, be back down for routines with the infielders and stuff like that. So I guess the work that I do now is, you know, is it like I've done it before, you know, so it's something I enjoy, and you know, I just always try to be available for everybody and be a resource for everybody, and I think that's where success comes from, is supporting each other and in different areas of the work.
It's very cliche, but you are so busy and you have so many of the behind the scenes legwork type deals. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's incredible. You never stop. I mean, you have a couple of minutes here and there, and that's about it. But it just seems like to me, just watching you, the 3.5 hours of game time is really probably the most relaxing part of your day, is it not?
Yeah, it's the most fun part of my day. You know, I think it's like once I put that uniform on, it's like, okay, the work's done. Like it's showtime now. You know, like let's go out there, let's win a ball game, and then come back and let's do it the next day. You know, so being out on the field, coaching first base is the fun part for me. You know, and it's a grind. You know, it's my first professional season, but I enjoyed every part of it.
Okay, your time at Iowa Western JUCO, that's right just east of Omaha, kind of on the Iowa-Nebraska border. It's an awesome, I mean, it is a JUCO fact. Anytime Oklahoma State gets somebody from Iowa Western, I'm like, heck yeah. Just like I had you announce your hometown, can you announce the mascot of Iowa Western? I've never been able to pronounce it.
Oh, a reaver.
Reaver?
A reaver.
What the hell is a reaver?
I'm not too sure, but apparently a reaver is a pirate. Okay. But I think it's a lake pirate, you know, and
pirate in the middle of I mean, there's not an ocean within 10,000 miles of Omaha.
Right. I wouldn't say that they're a pirate in the ocean because I was out in the Midwest, right? You know, so I think it's a pirate that's based in the lake or something like that. But yeah.
What are you going to steal my stash of bass that I just caught off this lake? I mean, what are they going to steal?
Yeah. But yeah, a reaver. Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you, you know, I asked this about Henny, the AAA manager. He is in the Hall of Fame at Cali County. I know you know who Cali County is, one of the best JUCOs. And he was one of the originals, him and the Burrows, that built that program there. And so I say that to say, JUCO is exactly like the pros in the sense that, yes, you want to win games. The goal is to win today and to teach that winning culture. But then the bigger goal is to move guys on to Division I, like you did Braden Smith, Tanner Creedemeyer, Evan Saunders, and all these guys. That's exactly how the pros are. Yes, we want to win on June 22nd, but we also want to get your ass up to AAA and eventually the Major League. So that had to be a perfect fit for you.
Oh, absolutely. Iowa Western, like you said, it's a powerhouse JUCO, but it has a rich history, with it too, right? So there's a lot of, standards, high standards that, with our players, when they go throughout their day. So when a Division I program comes in, they know what they're getting with the Iowa Western player, right? They're going to get a hard-nosed player, somebody who's got a lot of uber talent, that hasn't been seen yet. But they'll make an impact as soon as they get into Division I. So I think that's our goal when it comes to Iowa Western. If we get the kids that has the tools, and then we'll try to develop them to obviously help us win a national championship, but also when they get to the Division I level, they can make an immediate impact.
Ryan Kugel's the head coach, right?
Yes, you're Ryan Kugel. Yeah,
I can tell you this, that when Oklahoma State took Braden Smith, they had never seen him play, and Ryan called and said, hey, we got this guy, and Josh went, okay, that's enough for me. We'll take him. Literally, he trusted Ryan so much he did not even have to watch him play.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, one thing about Ryan too, he'll shoot it straight too, right? If that player looks like he should make an impact on that program, he'll let you know, and I think he has a lot of respect around the country, for coaches to respect that too, So, Ryan Kogel, one thing, very blessed to have been on his staff. One thing about him, he's also an infield guy, so he taught me a lot in the infield section too. So for me to get some things from Ryan, some things from Kai, it just opens up my tool bag just a little bit more. So
let's move on to the Dodgers aspect of things. This was an interesting season for Tulsa early on. You had some injuries, quite frankly. You had some guys that didn't perform the way that you expected them to. And it was a struggle, but I tell you what, you guys just stayed the course. You kept your process the same every single day. So kind of dive into that.
Yeah, I think in the beginning of the season, we weren't winning, so it could be easy for us to always try to find changes and make drastic changes. But I think when reflecting back on the year and looking back in the beginning of the year, as a staff and as a team, we kind of just trusted the process. We knew what it took to be successful as a team, and it wasn't going to come over, throughout the next days, right? It's going to come, just keep stacking days by days, and stuff like that. But I think Blake, our hitting coach, said it from the beginning. We were maybe 2-10, but he said, I have a feeling we're going to have a chance for the playoffs. Yep. I think we're going to have a chance to win a ring, and that's what happened, and I think just the leadership from Eric Wedge, what an unreal experience for all of us to be a part of. Former big league manager. He knows what it takes to win. He knows what it takes to be a big leaguer. So for him to instill those principles into our players, you can kind of see the growth throughout the season, and just the professionalism. It's important for the little things. You have to run things out, right? When you need to run it out, and just play the game and have fun, and don't take yourself too seriously. He always used to tell our guys that, it's once you take yourself too seriously, that's when the mental game kind of goes down, right? But this is a game. Just enjoy where you're being at and just trust the process. And I think that's what we kind of did throughout the whole year, was just trusting the process, and just kept working, We're always out there on the field working, getting better. So, I think it's just the true essence of player development, was our season. And I think success comes from, those losses, right? I think there's a lot of lessons that we learned, a lot of things that we did bad in the beginning of the season, we did better at the end of the season, right? So, true essence of the player development within AA Tulsa. So, it all starts with all of the people, everybody on the staff, including Eric Wedge, Hippolito, Blake, Duran, and everybody else. Yeah.
I wanted to back up, because you work with infielders in the Dodgers system, but you also pitched in college. So first of all, I'm guessing you were kind of a two-seam guy, used the low part of the zone with that way. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I always told people, I'm a two-way, but I was kind of just an athlete on the mound, It was just hey, just put me in late in the game. I'll get your outs, and, me and Cece, we always talk about it too.
Campos, I was going to ask you about Campos.
Yeah, we always talk about it, and I always told him, it's like, I wish I dived a little bit more into pitching.
Yeah.
And so, I could have had maybe a longer future there. And I see what CC's doing now is like, some of the best pitchers are some of the best athletes. So, um, yeah, I was just kind of just an athlete on the mound, but my enjoyment was definitely in the infield. And that's what I love to coach to now. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So having played on both sides of the ball at such a high level, does that allow you to touch and be able to work with and help more players because you're not just stuck maybe just to the positions player side or just the pitchers player side?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I always say, like, hey, I'm a defensive coach, right? Like, I pitch and I also played infield too. So I'm also down in the bullpen too, running that track man and stuff like that too. So yeah, I mean, obviously I let all the work go to Duran, but I think just informing our infielders of how, for me being in the bullpen to knowing how they attack hitters is a good thing to let our infielders know of how, our pitchers can attack and where they can position themselves to have success to get to the ground balls. So being on both sides, yeah, no, it's a good experience, and I'm glad I played both ways, so, yeah.
Yeah. So the Dodgers are notorious for, hey, they have their ways of doing things, but they want each player to be the best version of themselves. So really, I mean, everything the Dodgers do is a suggestion. Hey, we are suggesting you do this, but they want every player to be themselves. So I say that to say, here you have Eric Wedge. He coached at Wichita State. He's in the Wichita State Hall of Fame. He beat OSU's ass in the late 80s time and time again. He was just a great player, major league player, major league manager 2006 with Cleveland now, with now the Guardians. And so here you have this guy who already comes in established. He already comes in having his ways of doing things that have had proven success at the highest level. You have the Dodgers, who are the most successful program in baseball. So how did that mix where Eric Wedge, with his way of doing things combined with the way the Dodgers did it, how did that work together? I'm interested to hear that.
Yeah, I think when Eric Wedge, I mean, he's been out of baseball for a little bit, but when he came back, I think he kind of knew what his mission was. And he wanted to be a minor league manager. He wanted to help players, not only just on the baseball side, but on the other side of things too, right? Outside life and stuff like that. So I think it fit well with the Dodgers too, like Dodgers are always people first. When they hire staff, it's like people first, communication first. With Eric Wedge, that's kind of lined up with what he wanted to do to instill in these players too, was to come into the minor leagues, make sure people are on the right path to create success, to get to the big leagues. So I think for them to hire Eric Wedge was a knockout hire, and to be in AA, these players are right there sniffing the big leagues, right? So it's like, if you can have somebody to be there who's been there to guide them into that direction, I think it's awesome for him to be in AA for the Dodgers, and like I said, it's awesome to work with him and learn from him. Most impactful year I've had being under him.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into some of the personnel. This had to be a player development dream because, I mean, these are a bunch of dudes, just what I call grub worms, that just love to show up every day, be very baseballish, and just kind of get better and grind. And they were great defensive players. I've said Sean McClain might be the best defensive shortstop in the system. T.Y., who plays everywhere, he's a great defender. Kyle Nevin was fun because he's kind of starting to learn third base and he got a hell of a lot better at third base. Yeah. So talk about your infielders and the development there.
Yeah, no, I think our infielders, they want to work, like McClain. One thing about him, he's part of a professional family. His older brothers, in the big leagues with the Reds, his younger brothers with the White Sox. So I think professionalism just runs through that family. So one thing about him, he knows what it takes. He's got a little insider take from his older brother of how to get there, what steps he should take. So I think he's a defender how he is now is because of the work that he puts in. He's always there out there doing his routine and stuff like that. Ty, same thing, right? Like, he knows his MO as a player, so it's a dirt bag, kind of player. He's going to steal his bags, but he also want to go glove in college too, right? So he didn't get drafted as a power hitter, right? He has to know his identity as a player, and he lives and dies by it, and that's why he has success and in professional baseball, especially for the size that he is, And then Nevin, we had an interesting year in Tulsa. We had outfielders to kind of come into the infield because our infield was a little thin. So, like I said, it was fun with the process of trying to transfer these guys from the outfield into the infield. Nevin was part of that. John Rose was part of that. Played outfield all throughout college and pro ball, and then this is pretty much his first year playing first base. It was a little shaky, but through the process, he got a lot better at first base. Then we had to make a playoff run where we brought up Zaire Hope and DePaula, so we had to find ways to get Tibbs in the lineup, right? So it was like, okay, Tibbs, like we're going into playoffs. We need to make a playoff push. Can you play first? So he played a little bit of first in college. Said, hey, let's get out there. Let's get out early. Let's get your ground balls. And he made some big plays for us at first base too. So one thing about us, like I think like this year was creating versatile players. Having creating players so they can have that versatility to. One day they get coming to the big leagues, they have to play outfield. They're able to do it. If they have to play infield, they're able to do it. Another one, Yainer, catches, plays second. We moved them over to third. Had a lot of success at third as well, So just creating versatility with these players. It was fun being a part of that process. So and they're professional players, they're professional about it, so they went about their work every day, and it was exciting for them too to learn a new position.
Jainer, Ty, Sean McClain, that group, it does not get any tougher. It doesn't get any higher baseball IQ. And I swear to God, Jainer Fernandez, he's like a magnet for getting hit in the worst parts of the body every single day. It seems like he's always the one getting nailed somewhere.
Yeah. Only when he's catching, though. Yeah. It's always like a foul tip, just in the wrong area, But he one thing about Jainer, he plays the game hard, and he has a true passion for the game, So, and he's a winner. He's a winner, When he doesn't do well, it gets to him because he wants to win, and for the team.
Yeah. Okay, you got to work with Noah Miller, too, this year. Noah Miller might be the best defensive shortstop in the system. This guy's, of course, you got him coming right back off the injury. You got him back on the field and got him used to being on the field. And I'm sure there was a couple of different objectives. Yeah, we want to get better, but we want to make sure we're doing it in a way that's best for your health. So can you kind of talk about Noah Miller and his progression this year?
Yeah, no, Noah Miller, I mean, like you said, he's one of the best defensive shortstops in the minor leagues, So, just like when he first came into AA, it was kind of like, we know what you got. You're right. You got a really good glove, but we also want to keep you healthy, So it was like we had to try to manage that workload too, right? So I think just that constant communication between him and I was like, hey, what do you want to do today? Like, how are you feeling? Because the season is long, and we want you to have a full healthy season so you can keep moving up. And he did move up to AAA and stuff like that, but was just managing workload. He always had great hands, always comes out to do his routine. And then when he needed those ground balls, he would get it, a lot of live fungos for him. Actually, for a lot of guys, like that's what we kind of preach in, the Dodgers organization is more live fungos, situational work and stuff like that. But it was a pleasure, working with Noah Miller and stuff like that.
Let's talk about some of the outfielders. I know you specialize in infield, but I'm sure you worked with a lot of these guys and at least got to see their incredible progression. Let's start with Chris Newell, a young man who self-admittedly, whenever I talk to him, hey, he's got all the tools, but he hadn't quite put it all together in terms of how to make an impact the way that he's capable of maybe every single day in a game. I'll tell you what, that changed. Chris Newell in the last 2 months of the season, wow, he might have been the best player in the minor leagues for that 2-month stretch because he was awesome. So talk about him.
Yeah, no, Newell, I mean, another guy, right? Just going through the process, like beginning of the year was hot, like he hit and then went through a slump, the swing and miss was there. But like, I think just his work and with Blake, Blake does a great job with our hitters, like he's always putting in work to watch video with our guys and trying to make little tweaks for them to find success. And hey, Newell turned on. I mean, what he did in the last part of the second half of the season was impressive. You know, like it wasn't just, you know, just getting base hits. It was clutch home runs, you know, multiple home runs a game, you know, and like me and Wedge would just kind of look at each other and be like, wow, this is impressive. It was impressive to be a part of, and I'm very excited for him because it's only an upward trend for him too, you know, like Double A, like we said, he's sniffing the big leagues too. I truly believe like he could be a big league player if he continues to have success like that. And, you know, like when it comes to base running too, like I mean, what was he like? 25 for 25 on bases, right? Haven't got thrown out. So he also can steal bases too and play a hell of an outfield too. So has all the tools, and I'm very excited for him. I think he's finding his way throughout professional ball.
Yeah. I think maybe the most underrated outfielder. Of course, the Dodgers, this is a period where they have so many highly rated outfielders in the system right now. A guy like Cole Myers can kind of slip between the cracks if you're not paying attention. Maybe one of the fastest guys in the organization, a really, really tough out from the left side of the plate, a tremendous outfielder defensively. I just love his mentality. Cole Myers is my kind of guy.
Yep. I mean, same here. I think he's everybody's kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, one of my favorite players on the team as well, like just the way he goes about his business, the way he plays the game. Like Blake, like he said it too, he kind of compares him to Zach McKinstry, right? Like not really a high prospect, you know, under the radar guy, but hey, could kind of sneak into the big leagues for the tools that he has, you know, and the way he goes about his work. Like the value of him is just getting on first, you know, like just get on first, whether it's a walk, a bunt, a base hit, right? We can get you to second base to create that run value to have success for our team. So, no, I love Cole Myers. I mean, for his first season in professional ball, to have the success he had, I mean, it's endless for him. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what Cole Myers brings in the next few years.
Yeah. Two guys that are going to be linked forever, kind of like Zaire Hope and Jackson Ferris, or Zaire Hope and Josue De Paula because of the prospect rankings. But two guys that came over and really just kind of shot a shot of adrenaline in the Tulsa team. Zach Earhart, another OSU boy. I got to see every at-bat at OSU. I can tell you this guy is awesome. And James Tibbs III. Can you talk about those two?
Yeah, I mean, start with Earhart. I mean, that kid plays balls to the wall. You know, like he plays the game so hard, you know, and stuff like that. It's just everything you would ask for an outfielder. And during that time, you know, they came at the right time too, right? We were kind of making a push, came to trade deadline. We got these two guys, and they really helped us. And I think the best thing about those two when they came in was very open-minded. You know, like they came here to help us to win, but they also came here and trusted what we had as a coaching staff, right? So, and then Tibbs, like, I mean, first rounder with the Giants, you know, and then coming to us, got traded a couple of times before coming to us. But I think his mindset was in the right place. You know, it's tough to be traded in you know, 2 times or 3 times in a year, you know, but I think like Dodgers is the right organization for those two guys. And I'm very excited for those two to not only be with the Dodgers, but to enter spring training as a Dodger too, you know, because I think when they came to us at the trade deadline, we're kind of the only people they know throughout the Dodgers, right? But and the impact that we had on them, I think is just going to be even more when they go to spring training, when they get to be around all these other amazing coaches within the Dodger organization. So I'm excited for those two guys. You know, Tibbs, very excited for his future as well too. You know, when he came into Tulsa, made an impact in the outfield, has a very strong arm, and has a clutch factor to him. You know, like big home run, second to last game of the season, right? You know, so
you guys were dead to water in that game too, man. He salvaged that game, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he did. I mean, we had runner on first and second, bottom 8th. I think it was maybe 1 or 2 outs. We're down 1 run. If we didn't win that game, we weren't in the playoffs. And he delivered big. So that's one thing about Tibbs, man. He's got that clutch factor. When you need that big hit, he'll deliver. You know, so I'm excited for those two to enter spring training with the Dodgers and see what we can do with them.
You didn't get a lot of time with Josue De Paula and Zaire Hope. But you got to see a really good version of Zaire Hope. You got to see a version of Josue De Paula still trying to find his way at the AA level. Way too limited of a sample size, obviously. But in your mind, from what you saw, what makes those guys so great and such big prospects?
Yeah, I think just professionalism, like for how young they are, they know how to handle their business, Zaire Hope, as soon as he comes into the stadium, into Tulsa, he was ready to work, it didn't take a lot to push him out to get out his routine, right? I think he knew what he did, or he knows his MO, so those two, like for how young they are, they have very professional manners, and I think they're gonna have a lot of success as they grow and mature as players.
Okay, let's get into a little bit of the pitching. I know I'm taking up quite a bit of your time here. I'm having a heck of a lot of fun. You got a couple more minutes here, Kupono?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm just in Hawaii cruising.
I got to start with absolutely. I got to start with my boy CC Chris Campos. You brought him up a minute ago, but hey, him and his dad built a mound in his backyard, and his dad was like, "Hey, let's learn how to throw this slider this way." Then he does it, and then all of a sudden, it's like one of the best sliders you've ever seen, right? Chris Campos was the everyday shortstop at St. Mary's, and then transitioned to pitcher. He has a certain amount of "I'm going to kick your ass" in him that I can't take my eyes off whenever he's pitching. I love it.
Yeah, it's funny because, when he's out on the field, he has that killer instinct, but when he's off the field,
he's a cool cat, isn't he?
He's a cool cat, the nicest kid you'll meet, and stuff like that. So, like we said, CC was a two-way in college, West Coast guy. So, just a relationship there between him and I has been awesome. But no, every time when CC gets out on the mound, like, you have a chance to win a ball game. He's definitely he has big league stuff, and just the athleticism he has on the mound is going to play a big part in his career. So, no, I love CC. I'm excited for his future, sniffing the big leagues, right? Yeah. So hopefully he can get there. Very excited for him.
Well, Jackson Ferris finished strong, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. One thing about Jackson Ferris, if you ever be a part of his bullpens, he was in big league camp this past year too as well. Just had some time in the big leagues too to see how those pitchers go about their work, and you could definitely see that with his work today. This year in AA, knows how to make adjustments real quick. So yeah, he has another future to look forward to is Jackson Ferris for sure.
Yeah. Let me ask you a little bit of a tough question about him. He struggled a little bit early on for probably about the first half of the season. How did you see him handle that? I'm sure he was struggling more than he ever had in his life. How did he handle that, do you think?
Oh, very professional. I've never seen him be down on a bad outing. I think when he has a bad outing, it's like, okay, let's get to work on the next pen. I know what I need to improve on, and we're going to go into that pen and we're going to just work on that, So, no, his mental side of the game is awesome. So I think that's why he will have success, even through his struggles, So, first year in AA, we definitely seen it. It's a big jump, So it takes some time to get your feet wet in AA. So with Jackson Ferris, he'll be good. He'll be very good.
Patrick Copen might be the best story in baseball. Lost his eyesight at the end of 2024. Did not miss a start last year. I always got a kick because he went to Marshall. He's from that area. And the humidity just kills him because it's like he just sweats all over the place. And he's always trying to wipe it out of his eyes. Patrick Copen, what a story he is.
Oh, man. I mean, that's got to be the greatest story in baseball. And when he makes it to the big leagues, the story is gonna even be, bigger, for what he went through, and now he's back pitching to now I just seen, prospect for the Dodgers of the year. I think it was for the MiLB prospect pipeline. So, no, Copen, everybody's got to root for that guy, right? For what he's been through, from where he came from. I'm excited for Copen. Has electric stuff. I mean, just a big body on the mound, really can get on you as a hitter. So, Copen has a lot of bright sides to his game, and, I think he's just only up for him.
Kind of the Cole Myers of the pitching staff, a guy that's very, very underrated because he has so many talented people around him, making a lot of adjustments and really kind of putting that execution piece together. Peter Hubeck. I really feel like this is a guy that is kind of sitting behind the wings, if you will, but is super talented, definitely a major league pitcher.
Yeah, Hubeck, another one too. That's one thing that we had too. We had a lot of young pitchers who were kind of just stepping into Double-A, but Peter Hubeck, a lot of success in Double-A when he came in. So bright side to that, right? He got hurt towards the end of the season, but I think with Hubeck, he has the stuff. He's getting better at his control, so Duran put a lot of work, with these pitchers and stuff like that. So definitely seen the improvement of all these guys when Duran was working with them.
All right, your two lefties that came to you towards the end of the year, Luke Fox, Wyatt Crowell, they really, really, kind of like Tibbs and Earhart on the offensive side, they really put a good injection into this team, didn't they?
Yeah, no, definitely. And, with Great Lakes, they had an unreal season too. So for their ability to push up pitchers and just have, success that they have, big shout out to the staff down in Great Lakes. A lot of the guys that we got from Great Lakes, easy transition into Double-A, so kudos to the staff in Great Lakes. They had a lot of success. They had a lot of talent on their team. But when they came up to Double-A, it was a smooth transition. So kudos to the guys down in Great Lakes.
Yeah, two big guys on the release side. I think a guy that is maybe the most underrated guy in the entire system at any position, Jermaine Rosario. Now, the execution piece isn't always there, but when it is, it's like, wow. This guy's totally electric. And then Kelvin Ramirez. I don't think people realize how dominant this guy is from periods and how big of an arm as he has and how big of a dude he is. So can you talk about Jermaine Rosario and Kelvin Ramirez?
Oh, like you said, two of those guys, electric stuff. I've always joked around, Jermaine is hard to catch as a catch partner, because he's flipping over 93. It's right. When Jermaine asked me to play catch with him, it's okay, Capions are both in catch. Hey, let me borrow your catcher's glove because this guy's going to flick over 95, And then he starts throwing slot sweepers, is moving at 91, So electric stuff, Jermaine, electric stuff that can play up, in AAA and the big leagues. So just got to work on the execution part of it and stuff like that. But when he's on, he's on. Same thing with Kelvin Ramirez. When he's on, he's on. And for both of those guys, when their secondary is on, their fastball plays up. With Ramirez, who Duran kind of incorporated more of a curveball, north-south kind of guy. Once he started landing that curveball, his fastball played up, and it was tough on the hitters. So, those two guys, electric stuff, like you said, big body with Kelvin Ramirez. So a lot of bright sides to those two for sure. Kelvin
seems like that gentle giant too, like the nicest,
Absolutely.
most gentle human being. And they're he's this King Kong of a dude that's just out there kicking ass. It's
Absolutely.
Total transition.
Yep. It's kind of like CC, nicest guy in the dugout, but when it comes to the mound, it's all business and ready to compete,
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so maybe one of the most dominant relievers in all of minor league baseball, both at Great Lakes and with Tulsa, Carson Hobbs. Absolutely incredible. Fastball that can approach 100, that big curveball, wicked stuff, and you talk about competitive. Wow.
Yep. Yeah, no, Carson for sure. When he came up from Great Lakes, we knew what we were going to get, right? We knew we're going to get a guy who's going to execute pitches. He's going to go out there and compete for us, and he came up big for us towards the second half of the season. Knowles got pushed up to AAA, Robinson Ortiz, so he kind of had to take over in that closer role. Had a couple saves that didn't go his way, but, he stayed true to the course and definitely helped us out to the second half of the season. And he's kind of just a guy that you knew, he came in and he's going to give you a good chance to win the game and shut the door. Same thing with Knowles. When we had him towards, the first half, the second half, you put him in the game, we knew we had a chance to, close the door and win the game there too. So,
Right alongside Jermaine Rosario, Jason Cabrera. This guy's pumping at 101 consistently, and his slider is oh my God. I sat behind him. That dude's one that has at least a two-pitch mix that is as good as anybody can throw
Yeah.
up there. Now, when he's throwing strikes, obviously, it's very good. But I think Jason Cabrera is very underrated.
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, power stuff. I mean, same thing with Jermaine too. Like, I mean, he and Kelvin, like they can get up there in the 100 miles per
Oh,
hour,
yeah.
you know, and being from college ball to professional ball and seeing this in real life it's amazing, you know. So no, Jason too, you know, I believe he just signed with the Orioles, so he's with the Orioles
Oh,
now.
is he?
So
Okay, good for him.
yep,
Okay,
yep.
nice.
So wish him the best of luck, you know, and I'm excited to watch his journey because he also has a lot of stuff that could play up as well.
I'll tell you another guy, kind of a wild card, because, again, it's going to come down to the execution piece, but a guy that has great movement, about 5 different pitches, and is really competitive too. Cam Day, he has everything there for him to be really good and as like a 4-pitch pitcher with plus stuff. So
Yep.
can you talk about him?
Yeah, no, I mean, he was one of those part of the 3 that came in, you know, late in the season to help us with a playoff push. Didn't really have much time for it with him, but when he did come into the game, like you said, it's electric. I think when he came with the AA Tulsa, he hit 100 miles per hour for the first time in his life,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know?
did he?
So
Okay, nice. Very
yeah.
nice.
So that was an exciting thing for him and for us as an organization to see that from him. So we know he has it in the tank to throw hard, but also like his slider, his sweeper that he throws is gross, you know?
It is.
So
It is.
it's gross. So like he has the ability to get guys out. It's just, you know, just executing pitches is what they, you know, just have to learn throughout their professional career. Once they figure that out, I mean, great stuff to play up for sure.
Did Hobbs ever hit 100 this year?
I don't recall.
Okay.
He could have been up to 99
Yeah.
point something, right? And we could have rounded up to 100, but he probably didn't want it to round up to 100, right?
Yeah.
He wants it to be a true 100, but him too. Yeah, no, he was up there, but I don't think he hit 100. Yeah.
One last question, the most important question of the day. Did you and Antonio Knowles get into a deep conversation about which place was better to grow up between Hawaii and Key West? And who won if
No.
you did?
Yeah, no, but I definitely will make the argument Hawaii's got to be the best place, right?
Okay,
I mean, the
okay.
weather's great, you know, like, hey,
Well, Key
Florida,
West
they
is
get
pretty
the
good, my
hurricane.
brother.
Yeah. But hey, one thing about Florida, they get their hurricanes. Hawaii, we do get hurricanes, but it's not impactful as Florida, you know. But yeah, no, I got you on that, Noel. It's like Hawaii's definitely better. Yeah,
He's got the better slider, but you got the better hometown, right?
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
I lied. The craziest would being from Hawaii. You just mentioned the weather there, how nice it is.
Yeah.
The craziest weather thing you can remember from this last season in Tulsa.
Oh no, it's got to be that hell game that we went to Wichita. It was unreal. I mean, and then they continue to want it to play after the hell. It's
absolutely.
like, yeah, it was like, wow, this is
You're like,
crazy.
we're
You
gonna
know,
do
and-
what? We're gonna play? What the hell are you
Like,
talking about?
yeah, and you know, being from Hawaii, like we
Yeah.
don't see weather like that, you know, and it just seemed like it was boulders dropping on.
Were you like hunkered in the corner,
roads.
like, oh my God, what's happening?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I thought it was an earthquake. I didn't know what the procedures was on that, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Kupono Decker, it's an absolute pleasure to have you in the system. You were always just so kind and so gracious to me every time I came to Tulsa. You made me feel like home. Thank you so much, and wonderful, wonderful job this last season at AA Tulsa, my man.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, it's a pleasure to have you around Tulsa and stuff like that. And you're part of the Dodger Ohana, you know. In Hawaii, we call family Ohana, you know. So, like, you're part of the Dodger Ohana, and it's always great to see you in Tulsa. And, you know, just shining light on our players that don't get the light sometimes, you know. So, like, thank you so much for what you do. And I think as an organization, our players are very grateful for that.
It's a great day to be a Dodger.
Absolutely. Can't wait to go back to spring training as champions, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me on.